Hello, you find me this morning ready for day 6 of the West Highland Way. I'm just down from Glencoe Mountain Resort. Where I stayed last night. And behind me you can see Larig Moire that I crossed yesterday, but if we turn this way, we are going into Glencoe, and there is Larig Moire, one of the most famous mountains in Scotland, certainly because it's just so stunning to look at. And we're going to be walking past that today. We're going to be heading up the Devil's Staircase, or Deal Staircase as I should say. We will be crossing down to Kinlochleven, and most people would stop their day there, but I'm going to carry on up the other side of Kinlochleven. My legs will be screaming because that'll be 2 big climbs in a day, and we're going to find somewhere to wild camp between there and Ben Nevis, so that we can make our last day heading into Fort William a nice short one, so we can get the bus home. Exciting stuff. I have booked my bus home actually, and it's good to know exactly when I'm going to be making it. I reckon it's 25 miles exactly from here to Fort William, and I think I could make that today in one day. But if I got there today, I'd have no time to celebrate, no time to shower, so we're going to head and still camp and just have a very short day on Monday to get us home. But now, Glencoe! I love Glencoe. Glencoe's such an amazing place. It's just eerie, spooky, amazing to look at. Nowhere else like it. It's Scotland. It's Scotland. A beautiful deer there. Hope it's not scared away by this car. Now that deer has just turned up for me at the right time, hasn't it? Wow. Larig Moire, head in the clouds, a deer down here. Sometimes Scotland just pays out to you, and normally that's when you're in Glencoe. It looks amazing in any weather. Doesn't feel amazing in any weather. But wow, what a place. Now I've been saying I'm in Glencoe, but of course I'm not quite in Glencoe yet. There's Glenative, and this glen here is Glencoe, and it's guarded both by the Bookhill Larig Moire and the King's House Hotel, which is an alternative place where you can camp. You can camp just beyond it. There's a kind of agreed free wild camping spot. They have public showers and toilets and water and a bar and a restaurant, so you know it's another option. Or you can obviously stay at the hotel, which is run by the Crieff Hydro Group. And if you've never been to Crieff, it's kind of a spa town in Perthshire. It's a nice place to visit even if you're not visiting the spa. And there's a really good campsite in the next town along called Comrie Croft. Shout out to them, really good place. Well, because they're public, I just used the bathroom at King's House, and I've just used the nice water tap down there as well. They're much nicer toilets and showers than Glencoe, so that is interesting. They still cost £1. They have a hairdryer that costs 50p. Could be useful for some of you. The one thing is, these are unisex facilities, and I did notice that there were 2 toilets, one of which had a sanitary bin, but because so many men, who are clearly stupid, have been using it, it was full of tissues, even though there was a perfectly good bin right outside. So King's House, maybe either put a sign over the sanitary bin saying that people who use tissues should put them in the bin outside, so that those people who do need to use sanitary products can put them away carefully and easily, or, as much as I hate to say it, put some kind of marking gendering the doors, but you know, whatever works for you. Overall though, it is super kind of them to put a public shower and toilet there. Like, that's a really, really amazing thing for the people who are camping. There's also a bunkhouse, so that's a good cheap option as well as the more expensive option of staying in this very nice looking modern hotel that's been attached to the old original inn building. But yeah, thank you King's House, good facilities, lovely stuff. But speaking of facilities, I bet that pub would have been nice last night. Oh well. Has anyone seen the West Highland Way round here? Not quite sure which way to go. Well, there's a sign that says no camping, but clearly people camp and there's lots of space. So yeah, I think next time this is the thing to do. Come and try this out, have some food at the way in. So if you remember the sign from yesterday about the parliamentary roads and then their replacement in 1933, I assume this bridge must date back to about 1933 by the look of it. It must be an original part of the road. Pretty piece of architecture. Hello, a few miles in, still passing Larig Moire. Not going to stop soon. It just occurs to me that I do have a friend called Willie Scott, who I'm pretty sure has climbed Larig Moire, and not just climbed it, but climbed it on YouTube. And he's had a few channels down the years, and his current one, and I think his long term for everyone, is living the sky life, because that's what he's doing now. He lives up on Skye with Sarah and 2 lovely dogs, and you should go and look at their channels. But I think he climbed it on their old channel, Dirty Secrets of Scotland, which was a bit more broadly about Scotland than before they moved to Skye. So if you want to see someone climb Larig Moire, and you want lovely drone photography and all those things that people seem to like, Willie Scott's your man. Go and check out Living the Sky Life and Dirty Secrets of Scotland, both on YouTube. But do finish my videos first. And just there in the distance is probably the most photographed building in Scotland after the castle in Edinburgh. It's this wee white cottage. Don't know who lives there, but it's right here going into Glencoe, and everyone stops to take a picture, even me. I keep saying it, you need to keep looking back. I can still see Glencoe Mountain Resort, and I've walked for several miles. It's amazing the emptiness when you can do that. Almost past the big one. Almost at the lay-by, where a lot of people stop to take a few pictures and cross this bridge and just generally have a mess around. Right, it is time to start saying goodbye to Glencoe, and certainly to the mountain here, because we are about to climb 550 metres up the Devil's Staircase. And here's the sign telling us about how this was built in 1750 as part of the military road, built to keep down the Scots after they lost at Culloden. And it was called the Devil's Staircase because the poor soldiers who had to keep coming back over from Kinlochleven to build this out to halfway to Stirling to meet the people building from there had to go over it every single day. Well, for parts of their building anyway. So yeah, they found it quite hellish. I'm not expecting to find it that tough. I think it's got a name that's worse than its bite. The bit alongside Loch Lomond is worse. Though that said, coming down the other side I am not looking forward to. It's meant to be quite scrambly, scribbly, tiny bits of scree and a bit slippy. Not my favourite surface as a big fat guy with too much momentum, but let's see how we do. Oh, and I just turned my ankle over. Typical. Right then, deal. Let's be having ya. Well, that was easy. Only the rest to do. Well, we're very nearly at the cairn at the top of the old staircase, and I thought I'd just stop here just to be absolutely sure we've got all the cracking views back the way we already came. So yeah, I didn't tell you the whole truth. I'm at the top of the switchbacks, and the switchbacks are the bit that were originally called the Devil's Staircase. The emphasis should be on staircase, not devil, because it was the easiness of the road that was the problem. It led the soldiers back over the hill and down to the King's House Inn that we've seen, where they could get a drink. And they would be tempted over there because it was lovely, and then they come back in the dark, in the cold, in the wet, and the devil might take them because the devil had taken them there for the drink. So yeah, Devil's Staircase. The devil is in how easy it is, not how hard. So the great thing of course about mountain passes, you get double the view. You get the view back, and then you get the view forward with a snow-capped mountain in it. Well, actually, a snow-capped mountain or two. Because we are heading into the land of the bigger mountains on the west of Scotland, and here's the cairn. Whichever one you want to choose, that's your cairn to say you've done it. The Devil's Staircase. But yeah, wow. It is June. Scotland can put snow down even at this time of year, so be careful if you are going up the mountains. Always check the Mountain Weather Service and use appropriate equipment. So over there is a loch, but it's not your normal kind of loch. It's created with a dam. It's just hidden by the brow of that little hill there. I say little, it's not little really, we're up fairly high. And we'll be hearing a little bit more about that as we head down into Kinlochleven. This is what the path is like here, much as it's been on most of the old military road and parliamentary road, just really well made and laid. Like, super easy walking, not even using sticks most of the time. Alley up. So hidden down there in that glen out of view is Kinlochleven, but you might just, in the centre of the picture, I don't know if you can pick it out, be able to pick up the path coming up out of Kinlochleven and heading up and away along that glen. So that is where we're going this afternoon, and it's still morning now. So this is a hydroelectric facility here in Kinlochleven. It heads down the hill through big pipes, and we're about to see them. And we're also about to walk down something that I've heard is quite slippery and shaly and quite steep, which is funny because this is the most man-made path. Well, there's been a lot of man-made paths, but human-made path for a while, and it's a recent one. But there you are. The great news about these things, of course, is it's all lovely green electricity, and I think green electricity will hopefully be the biggest part of Scotland's future, as we have to inevitably move away from all the North Sea oil. But you know, people can go and work in the North Sea doing renewable energy to some extent, and we'll have to retrain and give people new jobs. I'm sorry, I'm doing that thing again where I'm just going to annoy some people, and you don't need to be annoyed by my video. My apologies if you were. So the loch that I showed you earlier isn't actually a loch, it's a reservoir. It's called the Blackwater Reservoir, and this massive set of pipes and that reservoir were put here in 1909 to feed aluminium smelting down at the bottom of the hill, and also generally generate some hydroelectric. Now that dam is the longest one in Scotland. It's about 1 kilometre long, and these pipes go for quite some way, as you can imagine, because you saw how far away the reservoir was when we were up in the hills, and how we're coming down into town on this quite steep and annoyingly stony track. Yeah, I mean, it's another one of the stories about going to the king's house and getting lost in the snow is related to the people who built this. Anyway, you can't see it now, it's behind all the pretty flowers. Oh no, you sprung a leak! Or maybe that's 2 leaks. And that is where it's all rushing to. Into there. With a little bit of electric. Right. Right, well, straight after Kinlochleven hydro power plant, there is something else of big interest. This Blackwater campsite, and my goodness me, it looks tempting right now. It's all empty apart from one tent. Oh, I could stop here and I could easily make it tomorrow to Fort William in time to get my bus. I'm going to resist, at least for now. I'm going to go into town. But it has got a very, very good rep, and you should consider staying there because I've heard nothing but good stuff about it. So just as you come into town, you're kind of redirected. You should really go to the right, but you go to the left to get into town. There's the toilet block, and do drop a donation with the QR code or any pounds you've got left. There's a water tap on the toilet block, or another water tap here, so you spoil for choice. A lovely little garden for sitting in, unless it's raining. I have to say, this is the first time I've ever been in Kinlochleven where it wasn't raining. Sorry to you guys. But a lovely park there to sit in, and I might grab some bits and bobs from what most of us are looking forward to here. A co-op. First proper shop we've seen in a long time. Certainly the first chain shop we've seen since Milgai. It's Sunday. I last saw a shop like this on Tuesday. Well, as the river races down, there's quite a nice place over there to have your lunch if you are just stopping. I just stopped and had it in a nice garden there at the bottom of that. It's lovely. I'm all packed up. I've got an extra meal deal for tomorrow. I'm all good. Over here's the tail race inn. Behind it there's a chip shop apparently. They sell Belhaven, which is quite a nice beer from Fife. Well, actually, what am I talking about? It's not from Fife. My friend from Fife introduced me to it. It's from near Dunbar. And I can always recommend a bit of Belhaven. The St Andrews is particularly good. That's why I always think of it as being a Fife ale. And I'm wobbling all over the place, so this probably won't get used. Look, here's the actual West Highland way. You should come up here and then go into town. But, you know, Kinlochleven is clever. They sent you past all the shops. I love the fact there's this little shelter for when you get into town. If it was raining today, I could hide in here. It'd be brilliant. Well, that was a superb little stop. But we're heading out, and I'm going to show you the hill I've got to climb. See, people talk about the Devil's Staircase. This is the hill you've got to worry about, guys. It's this one. It's going to hurt, but then I don't have to do it tomorrow. So here we have it, the start of the final stage of the West Highland Way in most people's books. Fort William via the Larig. So Scott, you live in Scotland, what does Larig mean? Larig means mountain pass. So we're going to be heading through a mountain pass that ends up in Glen Nevis and takes us down around the back way into Fort William. There is a more direct route, which, given that they've added a mile to the West Highland Way, I think it's kind of cheeky that they haven't taken us that slightly more direct route at the end. But I guess people want to stay in Glen Nevis at the campsite. Oh, speaking of campsites, quite a nice sneaky bit of wild camping there, just on the way out of town, so you don't have to stay at Blacksite if you don't want to. If you want to still get the advantages of the pub and the Chinese with chips and fish chip shop Chinese combo behind the tail race. But yeah, I'm going to stop gassing, not least because I'm running out of battery, and I'm going to see you further up this hill, and we might start looking for a nice camping spot for ourselves. Yeah, it's pretty punishing stuff. I mean, this is it at its best, where I'm not having to use the sticks as much, so I can talk to you. but it's all rocky and scrabbly, and it's very steep, and it's definitely much trickier, or at least more tiring than the Devil's Staircase. So save your pain for this. It's like a double conic hill, but sweaty in the trees with loads of midges. Wow, well, I'm nearly at the top of this bit, and there's Kinlochleven or Kinlochleven, not sure which. I think I'm right with Kinlochleven, but I'm doubting myself. It's all laid out below us, and you can see if I can point up here somewhere. There is where we came from. We came over the top of that, all the way down, now all the way back up in one day. What were we thinking? Ludicrous. Still 3 miles to go. So there ends day 6. We are in the glen. Just if we go that way a few miles and turn right, we will be in the final glen, Glen Nevis. And that is going to be tomorrow, the end of our journey. After the end of the journey, I'll give you some tips and some of my thoughts. Having finished the West Highland Way, they might come on that day, or they might come a day or two later. But yeah, it's been a big day. We've done those miles over those 2 ascents. Perfect weather really, just warm enough, just rainy enough. The wind was blowing the midges away. The wind's dropped now, which is good for my tent in this glen. It's not so good for the midge situation. So I will be brief, and I will say join me next time as I finish the West Highland Way on Scotland. Like and subscribe if you will, please. See you next time.